Wednesday, September the 11th. Lake level's 915 and a half. They've been generating quite a bit of water through the lake. Beaver's still high, and with all the rain that we've had, there's been a constant water flow for the last 6 or 8 weeks. But the water temperature's cooled down quite a bit. It's anywhere from 43, I found 45, 46. I've only been out a couple days. We went out yesterday, had a real good day, and it's the time of year where if you want to catch some good fish, the good ones are starting to move. And I think one of the best ways to catch them is probably, Alabama rig, jerk bait, swim bait. Now, the ones we caught, most everything we caught was on an Alabama rig and just a swim bait. Now, the swim bait's kind of hard to beat this, to me it's kind of hard to beat any time of the year, but the little 2.8, this is a Strike King Rage swimmer, but a little Kitech will work as well. Sometimes I'll go to like a 3.2 or 3.8, a little bit bigger bait. I usually throw it on a 1/4 ounce head, and I like to throw it on spinning gear this time of year because the bites are so light. A lot of times you don't feel the fish bite it, you just feel a little pressure. Usually throw it on a 7-foot, a medium action rod. I've got a Lew's. This is a all-purpose spinning rod, and I usually like to use 6 or 8 pound line. This one I am using fluorocarbon. I'm using a Suffix Advantage line. Normally I don't like to use fluorocarbon, especially in the winter on my spinning rods, because the line is so stiff it gets a lot of memory, a lot of coil. But as light as the bite is, I think with the fluorocarbon it helps you detect another bite or two that you normally wouldn't get. And normally this time of year I'm not afraid to throw these baits on light line, where I'm fishing in the areas where I feel bigger fish are, because the fish are pretty lethargic, and usually as long as you go easy with them, you don't have any trouble landing them. But the Alabama rig, I kind of mixing it up, some with blades, some without. I usually give them a variety of colors to choose from, but a lot of times it depends on the watercolor. I will throw some with blades as well. Yesterday it didn't seem to make much difference. I think we probably caught more fish on the A-rig without the blades. We were fishing in pretty clear water. A lot of times I think the ones with the blades will work a little bit better in stained water. And as far as where the stained water is, it seems like most of the James River till you get to the mouth of the White, there by .9, the water started to clear up pretty good. It had good visibility. Now, I'm not saying it was dirty. It just had a nice green color from there on up towards Ants Creek, up to Piney Creek. Visibility about 3 or 4 feet. And it seems like right when you get into the White River, right there where the White and James come together, if you head up the White, it's the same way as the James. It's just got a nice green off color. So in those areas, I'd be more apt to use like white on my Alabama rig, or white and chartreuse on some of my swim baits, and the blades. From there down towards the dam, I'd be more apt to use a more natural looking bait, and probably no blades on the A-rig. But the type of stuff, we fished a lot of different stuff with the A-rig. Some of the fish were out there in bluff ends. Some of them were extremely deep, 30, 35 feet deep over submerged timber. We did catch some on inside of main lake points, on brush piles that were 15 to 20 foot deep. A lot of the areas we caught them, it was like one and done. And we had probably one close to 6 pounds, and several in the 3 pound range. And they were mixed. We had smallmouths, Kentuckys, and largemouths. Naturally, the bigger fish were largemouths, although we did have some good 3.5 pound smallmouths as well. But it seemed like we never did really find the fish grouped up. It would be 1, maybe 2 to a point. We had maybe 1 point that we had multiple bites on, but most of it was just 1 bite. Didn't see a whole lot of shad in the areas that we was fishing. That one particular area where we had several bites, there was bait present, and the bait was kind of high up in the water column in that 15 to 20 foot range. Now I did find some bait way out in the middle of the creeks we didn't spend much time, fishing out there, but in the middle of the creeks and out on the main lake. But a lot of that bait was still 60 to 80 foot deep. And we did catch several fish, vertical fishing as well. I think you can still go out there with like a 3/4 ounce to 1 ounce spoon, white or silver, Rapala ice fishing jig. Now, how we caught them, if we came across a brush pile that was 25 to 45 feet deep and it looked like it had fish over it, we just dropped a little 2.8 swim bait down to them and caught them that way. And, most of those were Kentuckies. And a lot of the Kentuckies we caught, I mean, these fish are loaded up with eggs. They're fat. They're ready to go to the bank, but water temperature's going to have to climb up there a little bit. And we did throw a jerkbait several places. I felt like it was a good day for the jerkbait, but we didn't have much success on it. We had, more success without a doubt on the A-rig. And that's kind of normal for this time of year. Usually your bigger stringers, bigger fish are going to come on the A-rig. And it's kind of one of them deals, you just got to pick it up and throw it and throw it and throw it. I kept picking up the jerkbait because I like to throw a jerkbait so much. But like I say, I didn't have any success on it. When I was struggling and couldn't get a bite, I usually go to the little swim bait. I mean, it's kind of my go-to deal. It'll usually always catch me some fish. Some of them fish were 25 feet deep. I was working the bait, what I call just scratching the bottom, making a long cast, setting out in about 35, 40 feet, letting it go to the bottom. Once it hits the bottom, just a real slow, steady retrieve. On the Alabama rig, I'm using different weight heads depending on, how deep I'm fishing. If I'm fishing shallower in that, 15-foot range, I'll usually use 1/8 ounce heads. But today and yesterday where I was fishing deeper, I was using a 3/16 ounce heads, sometimes a 1/4 ounce, get the bait down there a little bit faster. No problem with getting it down there faster, you'll get into the trees a little bit more as well. But on the retrieve on the Alabama rig, just a slow, steady retrieve. And a lot of times, almost all the fish we caught, I think there was only 1 or 2 that actually just really slammed the bait. And, I felt like they was trying to knock the rod out of your hand. Most of them, you'd get a couple little bites, almost like a bluegill bite or crappie bite. It'd be peck, peck, and then the fish would load up on it. So a lot of times, if you're feeling that, you want to just keep maintaining a steady retrieve, and usually the fish will load up on it. Seems like once you get their interest, they'll go ahead and take it. But like I say, we never did really find them that grouped up. We didn't spend a whole lot of time vertical fishing. I was wanting to try to, figure out how to catch some quality fish. But like I say, when we did come across a brush pile or what looked like a group of fish straight below us while we were A-rigging, we'd pick that little swim bait up. Didn't try a spoon or an ice fishing jig, but I'm sure it would have worked in the same areas. Like I said, I've been trying to key on trying to figure out how to catch the bigger largemouths, and I think we figured that out a little bit as far as the bait was the A-rig. The location, well, I just had to move around a lot, but it seemed like transition banks where channels either swung into the bank or either swung in or swung out was the keys. Right up against flats, but I had to have deep water, real close by. Submerged timber was a plus, but we did not have to have it. We did catch some fish just off of bare gravel roll-offs as well. Looks like, weather's going to be pretty much the same for the next week or two. And as far as dying shad, I've seen a few dying shad, but not too many yet. Normally, we won't see that till the water temperature gets down to about the coldest it's going to get. And then it starts a warming trend back up. I don't think we're going to have that for a few more weeks yet. I think the water temperature's still going to drop some more. And then once it starts to climb back up, we should see some dying shad. Which, as long as there's not a ton of dying shad, I don't mind it too much. But if the shad are too thick, it seems like I've got to move away from that area. But if we do start seeing that, another good technique to try is that float and fly, especially when them shad are real small, that inch, inch and a half. And the few we seen today were the small shad. So, like I say, I think the fishing's just going to start getting better and better. I'm finding more fish higher up in the water column. I think if you get a few days of sunshine, especially with the amount of stained water we got, You pick up a crankbait like a wigglewort, rock crawler, a little Strike King square bill, a Rapala DT6. Start working some of the rocks, any place where the sun's been setting on it for several hours, especially in that stained water. And the same thing, you want to look for rock transitions where it goes from gravel to bigger rock. So till next week, good luck, good fishing.